Last season saw Damien Cole take his third championship title in a row, but as always the UK's premier Asphalt Rally Championship threw up plenty of action and entertainment on the stages. With many drivers showing their intent on the 2012 title, it wasn't going to be won without a fight. But that was last season, and the crews have it all to do again in 2013 as we look forward to new events, new faces, and those returning with a score to settle in the REIS Get Connected Asphalt Rally Championship. It's time for the tour of Epynt, round 1 of the REIS Get Connected Asphalt Rally Championship, and it will be 80 stage miles over this bitterly cold military terrain. It's the only time in the championship that all of the competitors are on equal footing, because after today's event they'll be separated into their ranking positions. So round 1 is an extremely important event for championship contenders. 7 stages make up round 1, and it would be 2 stages first thing before service, repeated again for a second time to make up stages 3 and 4 too. For Stephen Simpson and Patrick Walsh, they couldn't get off to a better start. The 2012 runners-up settle into an early lead of the event with a 9-second advantage going into the service. Did you find it slippery there this morning, Steve?
Yeah, very slippy, surprising. You left in, it was dry, and I was even thinking of going on a harder tyre, and good job I didn't, because it's very slippy up there.
For the defending champion Damien Cole, it would be the championship winning Focus WRC out on round 1. The highly anticipated Mark II Escort not quite ready in time for the event, and the debut delayed for now, but it was all going well, still in second place nonetheless.
Well, how was the first taste of Epynt for 2013?
Very slippery. There's a lot of, they've gritted the road, so on stage 1 is covered in mud everywhere.
That would have been surprising this morning.
Yeah, and stage 2, because we're first on the road, there's a dusting of grit all over it, so it's very slippery even in the fast corners. So hopefully for the second loop that will have been moved out the way.
A return to the championship for Paul Bird and Alec Davies in the Focus WRC, and a better start to the event than last year. They lie in third place for now, just 3 seconds behind Cole going into service. Leading the rear-wheel drive charge at the moment would be John Indrew and Joe Cruttenden. They settle into this 4th place despite not being happy about the conditions.
50. Caution, 2 left into dip, 6 right. Dip, 6 right. Flat 3 left, 100. Speak up. Flat crest, middle. 100, jump crest, keep left, not flat, 250. Keep left over flat crest. 80. 2 right, 1 left, flat over brow, 100. 2 right, 1 left, flat over brow, 100, crest, 50, turn, square left, don't cut.
We're having a few complaints that it's quite slippy there this morning. Did you feel that?
No, bone dry for me. I get loads of grip. What do you reckon? You need a World Rally car, just ask my mate.
A return to the championship for Graham Coffey and Howard Pridmore starts well, lying in 5th place at the moment, struggling with the grip in some sections of stages, but unsure what could be done about it.
I found it pretty slippy. I don't know what the comments are coming back, but it seems to be quite inconsistent in places, slippy in some sections and then quite grippy in others.
We believe that was grit on the road.
Grit, right, didn't know that. So there you go.
After only selected outings in 2012, it would be a fresh start for Simon Manger and Brian Cammack, And with the prospect of 2012 champion Damien Cole out on a Mark II this season, Major would surely be out to try and claim the title for himself after missing out so closely in the past. He lies in 6th place for now, just 4 seconds behind Coffey.
Well, they're very slippy. I think, freezing cold, and we were actually hoping it was going to be a little bit drier than that, so we gambled with a slightly harder tyre than we should have been on, really, to be honest. But no, it's good fun and good to be back.
It would also be a welcomed return to the championship for John Stone and Lee Carter following a season of ups and downs for the pair in 2012. The Skoda driver had his fair share of bad luck last season, but at round 1 at least it seemed to be going well, so far in 7th. For Chris Jones and Ashley Trimble, it was a podium finish to the championship last season, and the pair would be looking to do all they can to secure that, or better, this season. A new engine in the car was sure to help a little, but for now, 8th was what the pair could manage.
And 4 left, don't cut the exit. Crest and 1 left. 50. Keep left and turn 6 right. Crest long 3 right at the signs, into 4 right, and turn hairpin left, round the triangle, far side.
A regular on the Welsh rounds of the championship, it would be a 9th place start for Bob Fowden and Stephen McPhee, going well so far in the B13 Impreza. And rounding out the top 10 at this stage were Mark Jasper and Don Wyatt, hopefully putting the reliability gremlins to one side this season. Unfortunately for Chris Wheeler and Jan Griffiths, stage 2 is as far as the pair would get as they crash out mid-stage and limp out to retirement. Just one crew in Class N3, so it's Carwyn Watkins and Sharon Roberts that lead that class in the Fiesta. It would be a close battle in the N4 class as Rob Tout and Dan Holly open up an early lead of just 9 seconds. An overhaul of the car this winter taking some time to set back up again for the pair. And a return to the championship for Chris Rice and Craig Cameron was going well, 2nd in the class, the pair not having competed since this event last year, so it was all coming back to them now. Class A6 would see another two-way battle as David Earthy and Maria Rayner in the Citroen C2 take an early advantage, with the similar car of Christian South and Anthony Litchfield taking up 2nd in that class, just 7 seconds off the class leaders. One crew in Class A7 as Alex Laffey and Jack Morton wheel out the Fiesta S2000's first championship debut, going well so far, but will take some getting used to compared to last season's R2 car. In the B9 class, we had a clear leader at this early stage as Graham Muter and Steve Hallmark in the Escort open up a 1 minute 18 second lead after 2 stages. But for 2nd and 3rd place, it would be as close as it could get, with Micra pairing Stephen Brown and Paul Stringer, and Lotus pairing Howard Moore and Sasha Herriot, both heading into service on identical times. 2012 hadn't gone all to plan for Kev Monaghan and Chris Purvis in the B10 class. Some good pace was often ended with mechanical problems in the Corsa, so it would be a tense start to 2013. The pair taking hold of the class lead though, straight off the line. Their closest competition coming in the form of Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan in the Civic. Only 16 seconds separated them at this stage, so it certainly was going to be close on the next loop. And in 3rd place of the B10 class were Dale and Mark Clatworthy, themselves just a further 6 seconds behind Bliss now, so it would be all to play for on stage 3. In Class B11 we see a good start from Matt Beebe and Paula Swinsko in the MG. They open up a 9-second advantage in the class after stage 2.
And 6 left over crest, into crest, long 4 right, tightens okay over bump, into crest, slowing 4 left, sudden turn square right, don't cut, square left, tight don't cut.
Graham Hollis and Alan Jones are the ones chasing the MG pair down in second place, themselves with a bit more of an advantage over third. And in that third place, 27 seconds behind Hollis, are Ian Godney and Justin Davies. A wrong tyre choice on the opening stage costing them some time, but they have plenty more miles to make it back. 2 stages down, and a reminder of the top of the results now. On to the second loop now, and it would still be a healthy lead for Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh. They extend that advantage a little further to 22 seconds now. So Steve, you have the lead at the moment and you've held it for the last couple of stages, so are you happy?
Yeah, we're happy, yeah, very happy. It's very slippy out there. 4 stages now. Fortunately, we've won every stage, I think. And on the last one, we was really on it, taking some big cuts, and I think it's paid off, I think.
The stages definitely have been drying out through the morning though, haven't they?
They have been, but there's still plenty of damp in there, and obviously a lot of cars bringing some mud out from the sides and stuff, so there's some places that can catch you out.
For Damien Cole and Craig Drew, there was no answer to the pace in the lead. Pushing as hard as they could, it seemed that the Subaru of Simpson had the advantage here at round 1. Well, Damien, certainly you said you were having difficulties this morning, so has the conditions improved any for you?
The second run was quite a bit more grip, but we're still dropping time to Steve, so I'm not sure. Well, we can try to get it back with 22 seconds down now, so he's going very well today.
You don't know where he's gaining that time?
No, I thought we were going quite well, but he took 1 second out of us on stage 3 and then 12 on stage 4.
No advance either for Paul Bird and Allied Davies as they remain in third. The pair 13 seconds behind Cole now, but that could have been very different if it hadn't have been for this moment at the end of the stage. A tyre change in this loop for Simon Manger and Brian Cammack was going some way to helping with the conditions for the Escort pair. This, amongst the other things, helps them climb the leaderboard a little more into 4th place now, just 9 seconds down to 3rd. Things definitely improved after that tyre change then, Simon?
Yeah, that was a lot better, a lot more grip. It's still very, very greasy out there. It's actually worst possible conditions. You either want it teaming down with rain or dry. When it's greasy like that, it just makes life really difficult, and the tyre choice really hard. But that's a lot better. I think we've pulled a few places back now, so it's all to play for still.
It's only WRC cars in front of you, so you've got to be happy at the moment from where you are.
Yeah, well, we were obviously hoping to have another Mark II Escort to battle with, but I don't think he's ready for it. I mean, the car's not ready for the event.
No change for Graham Coffey and Howard Pridmore as they remain in 5th. The crews around them were swapping places, but for the Subaru pair, it would be a consistent run, despite this little overshoot at the same junction that caught out Paul Bird. This loop wouldn't be so kind to John Indry and Joe Cruttenden. It was all going so well for the pair until a wrong tyre choice dropped them back down to 6th. Still a good place to fight from the afternoon, but disappointing nonetheless.
8 left Titans, watch speed, 200. 8 left Titans, watch speed, 200. Flat crest. Chicane, enter right.
So has the slipperiness subsided yet, John?
Has it subsided? Quite possibly. Well, I wouldn't actually know that, because I thought what I'd do, I'd come fourth in the first loop, right? And then what I'd do, I'd try something I've never done before and put a different type of tyre with something going on the back and to see whether that worked.
Sounds a wee bit conspicuous. You're going to have to explain.
Why would you do that, Fred, when you were fourth, beating everybody with two-wheel drive, including Major, and most World Rally cars? Why would you try something new? Because you're completely nuts. John Indry.
Well, did you learn anything?
Oh, yeah. Those tyres, wherever they are now, they're going to the bin.
For John Stone and Lee Carter, it would be more of the same. The pair settled into that 7th place early on, and they remain there for the next loop, going into the afternoon stages just 2 seconds behind Indry. Chris Jones and Ashley Trimble are another to remain steady in 8th place, but it would be tight. Just a handful of seconds separate the lower half of the top 10, themselves just 1 second behind Stone now.
Into 1 right and 5 right at the house, don't cut. 54 left. And 1 right at the signs. Into long crest. 2 right over the dip and 3 left over the crest. Here, keep to me. 60 down. 2 right over the dip, 50 up. Finish 4 left. Lovely. Well held, Chris.
This loop of stages sees the second of the Darians joining the top 10. Washington James and Paul Williams have a better run over these stages to move up into 9th. And for Bob Fowden and Steve McPhee, it's a drop down a place to round off our top 10 at the end of stage 4. Unfortunately, this loop sees us lose Kevin and Charles Tappan as they retire the new car in stage 3. We lose Ashley Fields and Josh Davison in stage 6 when the throttle cable on the Darien breaks, although judging by this stall on stage 3, that wasn't his only problem this weekend. In the classes, it would still be the lone crew of Carwyn Watkins and Sharon Roberts who represent Class N3. No change in the top of the Class N4 result as Rob Tout and Dan Holly remain in the lead of that event, and the new tyres on the car working well here at round 1. For Chris Rice and Craig Cameron, it was still second. The pair dropped a little time on the leaders now to lie 17 seconds down in second. No change in Class A6 as David Earthley and Maria Rayner still lead the class, now with a 10-second advantage. And for Christian South and Anthony Litchfield, it would be second. The pair still managing to keep up with the class leaders, but only just. Still going strong in Class A7 as they get used to the car are Alex Laffey and Jack Morton. And no change to the lead in Class B9 as Graham Muter and Steve Hallmark lead that class with over a 2-minute advantage now. Howard Moore and Sasha Herriott come out on top of the fight for second place in this stage, partly down to the drop down the order for Stephen Brown in this loop. A drop which also has an impact on third in class as Ian Barnard and Andy Bull take up that position going into the second half of the event. No change to the lead in Class B10, that still belongs to Kev Monaghan and Chris Purvis in the Corsa. They do now have over a minute of a lead advantage in the class. This extended lead due to a change in the remaining places as Darren and Sue Underwood step up into second in that class, gaining some time back that they lost with a wrong tyre choice on the opening loop. And for Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan, it would be a drop down into third, the pair only 8 seconds behind the Underwoods at this stage. Class B11 would still be dominated by Matt Beebe and Paula Swinsko in the MG, now with 16 seconds of a lead in that class. This still leaves the escort of Graham Hollis and Alan Jones just trailing slightly in second place. And it was still going well for Ian Godney and Justin Davies in the Clio, just 28 seconds behind Hollis and now on the right tyres for the conditions. Over the halfway point now, and a quick look back at the top of the leaderboard. On to stage 5, and the two morning stages are joined together for a longer single stage. But for Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh, that just meant a chance to extend that lead by a further 2 seconds. For Damien Cole and Craig Drew, it would be frustrating not to be pulling any time out of the rally leaders, but they could take some comfort in the fact that they were pulling away from the rest of the field, now 24 seconds up on third place. And still in command of that final podium place are Paul Bird and Ali Davies. No more mistakes from the pair now as they fight to claw back some of that time and hold off the charge from behind. Simon Major and Brian Cammack go into this stage knowing it was a long way from over, and even if they felt they couldn't advance on that fourth place, it was still in danger of being taken from them if they backed off at this stage. Keen to get themselves up the results still were Graham Coffey and Howard Pridmore in 5th place, the pair going well here this weekend in one of the best performances in this championship so far. For John Indry and Joe Cruttenden, it would be that bad tyre choice that sets them back, and they were unable to push enough to gain any of that lost time back. So for now it would be still 6th and wishing for a better last few stages.
Repeat, 1 right and fast 3 left over brow, 50. Caution 4 left over crest. Flat crest 50, flat crest, 150 line, flat crest. 150, 4 right tightens over hump, 50. Long 4 left into square right, hairpin left.
We're on full dry, aren't we?
Yep. 80. Fast 3 right. Go 300. Crest, brake on crest at trees. 70 chicane, enter right.
There would be a small change in 7th as Washington James and Paul Williams step up 2 places to take that position just 21 seconds behind Indry in the similar car. Consistency was what got Chris Jones and Ashley Trimble the results last season, and this season looks like more of the same, still 8th overall at this stage. A step up into the top 10 now as Mark Worley and Hamish Campbell take over the place left by Washington James and move up into 9th. And it would also be a change in 10th as we see John Stone and Lee Carter dropping down a few places into that 10th position. Unfortunately, we lose Philip Turner and Simon Anthony as they retire the Impreza in Stage 5. No change in Class N3. Karen Watkins and Sharon Roberts continue to have a good run as the sole class contenders. In Class N4, we see the lead remaining with Rob Tout and Dan Holly in the Evo. 36 seconds the advantage now. And for Chris Rice and Craig Cameron, it would still be second in that class, getting used to the car again stage by stage. No change in Class A6. David Earthy and Maria Rayner remain in the lead with a 31-second advantage. Christian South and Anthony Litchfield remain second in the similar car at this stage. Still a good debut for the Fiesta S2000 in Class A7 for Alex Laffey and Jack Morton as they continue the development. In Class B9, the only change at the top would be the advantage, with Graham Muter and Steve Hallmark extending their class lead to over 3 minutes now. Howard Moore and Sasha Harriott continue to hold on to second in the Lotus, themselves with over a minute's advantage. The advantage now over Stephen Brown and Paul Stringer, who were climbing back up the results and now in third. In Class B10, we still see the Corsa of Kev Monaghan and Chris Purvis leading the way, some good times ensuring they stay above the rest of the class for now. But the afternoon was providing a fight back for Darren and Sue Underwood as they pick up the pace, lying in second and just 35 seconds off the class leaders. And no change for Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan as they round off the top three in the class. No change to the leaders in Class B11 as Matt Beebe and Paula Swinscoe continue to lead the way. But it was getting closer, just as Graham Hollis and Alan Jones closed the gap on the pair to 15 seconds now. And no problems for Ian Godney and Justin Davies, 12 seconds separating them from Hollis at the end of Stage 5. 2 more stages remain and the top of the results look like this. No change for Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh in this stage. The pair stay in the lead of the event and maintain that 24-second advantage too. Just a repeat of that loop then, Steve, and the win should be in the bag?
Yeah, one more go and then we'll see. But anything can happen in one more go, can it, as we all know.
So for Damien Cole and Craig Drew, it wouldn't be any advantage on the rally leaders, but at least they were keeping up with the times being set by them, not losing any time to Simpson on this stage to remain in second place.
Damien, have things improved any?
We only dropped 2 to Steve in Stage 5 and we had a big push in that one, but I think 24 seconds will be too much to ask really.
At least it is just a repeat of this stage now.
Yeah, just one left, but we'll keep trying.
Unfortunately though for Paul Bird and Allied Davies, they wouldn't be able to keep up the pace at the top. It didn't affect their third position, but the gap to Cole was now 50 seconds going into the final stage. For Simon Major and Brian Kamak, it would be a tough decision going into the final stage. The pair go 8 seconds faster than Bird on this stage and go into the final stage just 12 seconds behind the Focus pair. Could a push be made, or would they play it safe and take that 4th place?
That's a fantastic stage. Still a lot of tricky bits in there to catch you out. We're actually a bit too soft on the rear tyres now, so the tyres are going off towards the end there, but plenty of tail sliding and having a great time.
No change in 5th for Graham Coffey and Howard Pridmore. A stall in this stage, losing the pair a handful of seconds, but they managed to hold on to that position for now.
Okay, so not so much luck on that one, Graham.
Right, that was a really good stage for us because I stalled at one of the hairpins and it took about 10 seconds to fire up again, so not happy with that at all.
A couple of good stage times for John Indry and Joe Cruttenden after the change back to familiar tyres was keeping them in the battle with Coffey going into the final stage. Just 8 seconds separate them now, so it was all to play for in stage 7.
Well, you were a frustrated John Indry earlier, so have you calmed down any?
Yeah, you didn't interview me after the last stage. I was as happy as Larry. We sort of... we beat Simon and all the other Darians, which is no mean feat.
So what went right?
Sorry?
What went right?
Well, we just put the tyres on for this morning and put some more cuts in them, basically. What we should have done all day. But the problem is, as it gets colder now, it's just greasy again on the stage. We just got no grip. We're in a fight with Graham Coffey. We're 15 behind, but whether we can do it, it's too slippy for us, so... But listen, if we're on Major's pace in this, then it's a win, you know.
No change in 7th for Washington James and Paul Williams in the second of the Darians, but they were losing a handful of seconds to Indry, and the gap between them now up to 36 seconds. With the pace improving as the day goes on, it would be a step up to 8th from Mark Worley and Hamish Campbell in the Impreza. They have a good run over stage 6 to overhaul Chris Jones from that place. So with the push from the Subaru pair ahead, it would be a drop down to 9th now for Chris Jones and Ashley Trimble. No problems for the pair, just taking some time to get used to the new engine and adjust to having that extra gear. And for John Stone and Lee Carter, it would be 10th at the end of this loop, but a place they would have to share at this stage with Bob Fowden and Steve McPhee, meaning what happens in this final stage will be crucial. Unfortunately, we lose Richard Merriman and Kath Curzon in stage 6 after a good run in the Darien. As we go into the final stage, we unfortunately lose Carwyn Watkins and Sharon Roberts from Class N3, meaning no finishers in that class this weekend. It would be a familiar story right to the end in Class N4 as Chris Rice and Craig Cameron finished second. A few minor brake problems through the day didn't help, but overall the pace was good. For Rob Tout and Dan Holly, it would be the class win, a flashback to the dominance in the class that won them the Group N award last season. The Class A6 battle would also remain unchanged, with Christian South and Anthony Litchfield continuing to run second in the class right to the finish. David Earthy and Maria Rayner keep up the good pace and extend the class winning margin to over a minute and a half at the finish. No real problems to report for Alex Laffey and Jack Morton as they bring home the Fiesta S2000 for its Class A7 win. In Class B9 there would be no change over the final stages. Stephen Brown and Paul Stringer remain third, the best they could manage after their drop down the times earlier in the day. Howard Moore and Sasha Herriott hold on to second place, but the difference to the class leaders extended further on these final stages to over 4 minutes. But that means it's a class win for Graham Muter and Steve Hallmark in the Escort. A strong performance all day from the pair and a good result as the reward. Unfortunately, the Class B10 results take a shake-up as we lose Kev Monaghan and Chris Purvis from the class lead in Stage 6, a disappointing end to a good run for the pair. So that means it's changing third as Dale and Mark Clatworthy step up to take that place. Automatic promotion to second place for Richard Bliss and Jamie Vaughan would go some way to compensating for that good run this morning. But probably most surprised to be coming home with the class win are Darren and Sue Underwood. Having a bad start to the day and some worrying brake issues on the final stages, it would be a welcomed result for the Nova pair. The Class B11 results saw no change. Ian Godney and Justin Davies round off the top 3 in the Clio. And no change for Graham Hollis and Alan Jones in the Escort as they finished the event second in the class. The times close between the top 3, Hollis going into the finish just 18 seconds behind the class winners. And those class winners after leading from the start would be Matt Beebe and Paula Swinsko in the MG. A good run with no problems to speak of. Their only issue towards the end of the event was catching cars in the stage. On to the overall top 10, and John Stone and Lee Carter managed to hold on to that 10th place. No change for Chris Jones and Ashley Trimble. They remain in 9th at the end of the event. A much better result than this time last year when they rolled out of the event. There would be a last minute burst of speed from Bob Fowden and Steve McKee in the final stages, and they climb up the order into 8th in the final miles. A place gain from Mark Worley and Hamish Campbell in this final stage now too, as they step up to take 7th at the end of the event. Washington James and Paul Williams gain a place in this last stage too, moving up into 6th place, 3rd in Class 2. John Endry and Joe Cruttenden move up a place going into the finish, the pair taking 5th overall and 2nd in the class. Their last stage push to pass Graham Coffey on the results made a lot easier by Coffey gaining a puncture in this stage and dropping right down the order into 12th. Such a shame for the Subaru driver who had been going well up until that point.
Flat crest, keep right, 150. Crest and crest, keep right over jump. 100, caution crest, into 1 left, mud, 50, 6 right, 6 left, flat crest, 1 right, 100, 1 left and 1 left, chicane, enter right, flat to finish, John, go on, well done, well driven mate, well driven all day.
Yeah, we just made a massive mistake on the tyres. If we hadn't have done that, we'd have been in a battle with Simon, but we're only 1 point behind him. We finished 5th. Won our £5 bet with Graham Coffey, so I doubt he'll pay up, but whatever.
Maybe the most important thing today.
I think it was 500 actually, but whatever, we'll discuss that in the bar later. So, yeah, good day. You know, no scratch on the car, my old chestnut, so on to the next one, I reckon. Cheers.
So for Simon Major and Brian Kamak, it would be 4th. The 12-second deficit to 3rd place going into this stage was cut down to 8 seconds, but that was all they could manage. They do finish as winners of the Millington Rear-Wheel Drive Challenge 2 though. Simon, a good day at the office for you, you have to say.
Yeah, we were really pleased with that. Obviously, I've been out of it for a few months, so I probably weren't right up to my rally pace to begin with, but we got quicker throughout the day, made some right tyre choices in the end, and yeah, to come away with first 2-wheel drive, and we're still the number 1 Mark II Escort in the team in the country, remember that, okay? And no, we're pleased, but John, to be fair, in the 2-wheel drive class, he was pushing us hard. On another day, it could have been a bit closer, you never know. But no, we're pleased with that. Podium would have been nice, but we've picked up first 2-wheel drive, so we've got to be pleased.
It's great as well to have this Millington Challenge as part of the championship this year.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's something for us to go for. Obviously, it's a bit frustrating for us because, you know, conditions have to be perfect for us to challenge the WRC boys, you know. And so we generally find ourselves in sort of no man's land. There's no one to battle with. Like I said before, it would be nice if a few more Mark II boys come out there. Mr. Cole, you need to get that car sorted and come out and do battle because, you know, we would give you ultimate respect. And for us, it'd be you know, someone has to push us on for the 2-wheel drive award, you know. But fair play, you know, they've all driven well, and like I say, John was pushing us hard, and I think we've got to watch him this season.
So for the top of the results, there wouldn't really be much change through the day other than the times. And at the end of the event, it would still be third for Paul Bird and Ali Davies, the pair finishing just over a minute off the lead. Going into the final stage, there were 24 seconds separating Damien Cole and Craig Drew from that win. Too much to take up in one stage. However, they hadn't counted on a mistake from Steve Simpson and Patrick Walsh. The Subaru pair would stall the car in a chicane on the final stage, dropping them time, and meaning that Cole reaches the end of the event on exactly the same time as Simpson. A tie-break situation calls on the fastest time on stage 1, and for Simpson that means victory. Despite this last-minute scare, he walks away from round 1 with maximum points on the board, going into round 2 on the Isle of Man.
What a dramatic end, Steve, going into that final stage with a 24-second lead. Anyone else might have just sat back, but not you.
No, we couldn't sit back. And we always say you never know what happens in rallying, and something did happen. We locked up and then put it in between the bales and stalled it. And come on.
A bit of cosmetic damage as well, and I'm sure your pride has been hit here on the final stage, but you do take maximum points away today.
Yeah, we've won. That's it. So we take maximum points for the championship. That's a good start to the year, and we just see where we can carry it forward now.
Fair play as well to Melvin Evans and the team. They did make a few changes with the setup of the car, and it obviously worked for you.
Yeah, we made them. Malvin suggested we put a softer spring on the front, and we did that for burst stages in Ireland, and it worked well. And again, it's worked well here today. So fair play to Malvin Evans.
Well, we're never ever short of drama in this championship, Damien. What a way to finish the rally today.
Yeah, we had a massive push in the last stage, went 8 seconds quicker than we did on stage 6. Steve had problems, I think he's gone off into his chicane, and we took 24 seconds out of him to equal with him, but unfortunately he then wins because he was fastest on stage 1 this morning.
Yeah, it's not a nice way to lose championship points today.
No, but the rules are the rules, and on a tie break it's fastest first, so we should have gone quicker this morning, but a little bit of out of match practice, so we'll wait and try and have him back on the Manx.
I have to say, a lot of the fans would have been looking forward to seeing you out in the Mark II today. Obviously it wasn't ready, but what did go wrong?
There was just various setup issues with it. We had an issue with the power steering and some electrical issues, which I'm sure Viking Motorsport will sort out. We're testing again next week.
Okay, so should we see you out in the Mark II, maybe for the Manx?
Possibly.
So our reigning champion Damien Cole missed out on those maximum championship points on the final stage by Steve Simpson, who led the event for the most of the day. So he's definitely a deserved winner, and he takes them points with him to the second round of the championship, the Manx Rally. We'll see you then.